because we are almost 30 people, then we can go. Okay, the recording started. Julia, can you just confirm? Okay, very good. Then first, thank you very much, all of you, for being here. We are here today to discuss about the preliminary, I mean, to work on the primary market consultation of the city of Prijedor. For the ones that don't know, it's in Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is part of a project that I will be introducing in a few seconds that is called 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝. It's part of the mission, one climate neutral and smart cities mission. And then has at the heart of the project a public procurement process that had already a first round that happened between 2023 and 2024, and that is seeing now the deployment of the solutions. And now we start with what we call our follower cities. Follower is not a negative. It means just cities that start working now on that. Also trying to use the whole experience of the cities that started this process, that are 8. Now, I'll quickly share my screen just because I'll show you. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
First?
Yes.
Okay. If I can, be nice if I can. Okay. Then we have this, the agenda first thing. Then I will be, as I was saying, introducing the project very quickly because it's not the main focus today. Then our colleagues of the City of Prijedor and the development agency that works with them, Preda, that they will explain you better than me what it is. We'll go through the challenge. What is the City of Prijedor is intending to do, and what is the hope, how you can, and this is at the heart for you to understand and to support eventually this process to make sure that when we will be publishing our call for tender, the market, let's say the challenge is closer to the market eventually. Then we will have a Q&A session. Then you will be able to ask any questions to the City of Prijedor and Pred about what they were presenting. Then we have our colleague Francesco Molinari, always of ANCI Toscana, like me, that will go through the 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐼𝐞𝐝 public procurement process. And this is something that for sure knows better than any of us, as he is the person that identified this opportunity and develop the most of it in the first round. Then you will be able also to ask questions to Francesco after his presentation. And then we will go obviously through a wrap up and conclusions, also to let you maybe, we will maybe remind you what will Francesco tell you, but about what are the next steps, what happens after this primary market consultation. Okay, first, there is any questions before that I start with the presentation of 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐼𝐞𝐝? All good?
All good.
Very good. Okay, then, now, what is 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐼𝐞𝐝? First, 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐼𝐞𝐝 with this bit wild acronym that we have. Someone says 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐼𝐞𝐝, someone says 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐼𝐞𝐝. You are allowed to say it as you like better. Anyways, I was saying this is a project that is funded by Horizon Europe, but is done within the one climate neutral and smart cities. This mission, for the ones that maybe don't know, it's divided somehow in two, in the sense that on one side, 112 cities were selected to support them in their preliminary, in their definition of strategies about climate neutrality, taking an engagement also towards the European Commission and the other cities too. On the other side, there are projects that are funded under Horizon Europe that fund projects in which cities that are part of the mission may be part of them, but it doesn't mean it's not an obligation. Cities like Prijedor that are not part of the mission are totally allowed to participate. Then on one side, the cities, on the other side, projects that support the cities in a more general way, because it doesn't mean that it's just about the 112 that were selected. In our case, we have a funding of 11 million euros. We are part of a cluster that is called urban planning and design, urban design and planning. That means that the focus of the call that we answered to was mostly urban planning. To do so, we have a partnership that is particular because we have we have a number of R&D specialists that are the ones that you see above. Then we have IT specialists that are the second row. Third one are city specialists. And then we have all the cities and the agencies that are supporting them. Two of them, one is Prijedor with Prida, but there is also Zoom that supports the city of Maribor. But anyway, all these cities are committed. The eight that you see in the fourth row are the leaders that are Torino, Grenoble Metropole, which is an urban agglomeration, the city of Athens, Sofia, Maribor. Then we have, sorry, oh, here we go. Yeah, okay. We can see it from here. We have Cascais, Grenoble Metropole, Turin, Ioannina, Athens, Maribor, Differdange, which is in Luxembourg, for the ones that don't know, Sofia, which is in Bulgaria. And then we have six cities that are somehow working as observers or followers. We have the cities of Prijedor, Pilsen, and Issy-les-Moulineaux that are working as followers. And then we have the cities of Katowice, Podgorica, and Kirk that are observers. And then in the followers path, we have two of the leaders that accepted to be followers on a field that is different from the one that they took on the first round. Those are Grenoble Metropole and Sofia. The objectives of our project. The objective of our project is mostly first to have a mission-oriented program. And we call it hub-based because we divided the cities by field. We have on one side mobility and energy, on the other waste and circularity. You will see today, we will be more on the waste and circularity, considering that there are themes that are quite different and the development of projects in those two can be quite different. And it's also a good idea. It's also an, an idea that was developed to make sure that cities develop local hubs that get connected. Then we have smaller hubs at local level that connect to other hubs at European level, creating a higher level hub. Then we want to also to develop business models with startups and established companies to make sure that we have public-private partnership that can getting created over time, making sure that the use and replication of climate neutral solutions can be mostly engaged. And on this, the idea is to create a community of cities and also, sorry, if you can, people that are here, if they can mute themselves. And then using this community of cities, but every city bringing a number of stakeholders. And finally, defining monitoring tool, but in particular tools and the platform, allowing to evaluate the solutions on the ground, making sure that the city, when developing and deploying and experimental solutions on the ground, can easily understand the usefulness, also with a particular granularity or a general granularity on the field. Then about the approach, the idea mostly is that we consider we don't lack technology today. We lack glue the cities, then the public authorities to the market and the cities to citizens and stakeholders. Because citizens and stakeholders are the ones that somehow are connected to behavioral change. And behavioral change is something that is fundamental. Then public administration should learn to glue the market and the citizen, somehow acting as a public administration, then taking into consideration its role that is also to somehow, I would call it sort of moderation between the two, making sure that everything is respected. Then we work, and this project worked on 5 steps mostly. Over time, we noticed that it's not this linear, it's much more complicated than what you see on the screen. But let's to say that we started co-creating challenges and then the base of the solutions with the cities. This became a first innovative procurement that, as I said, happened and was concluded some time ago. I mean, we are now deploying the solutions. And then the deployment brings to an evaluation and then eventually to a replication. Point is that we noticed that after the first round of innovative procurement, while the solutions are deployed in leader cities, we can start replicating because our is a replication by process, making then, let's say, step 1 and 2 done by the leaders. At this point, followers starting replicating these 2 steps, while the others take the 3 and 4, and later the followers will go for the 3 and 4, making sure that then we have it's not that linear. It has a double steps, double steps replication. Now, I don't want to make you lose more time on that. I think that we need to start on what is really the focus today. The focus today is to talk about is to work on Prijedor and the challenge and the needs that Prijedor has, and then later to discuss more in depth the procedure that we are presenting today. Then I would leave the floor to the friends of Prijedor and the city of Prijedor. I guess it will be Goran to talk. Goran Rodic. Or I mean, you will be talking together. Okay, you can.
Yeah, I will have a short presentation, but then Goran will do the detail one.
Okay.
So I have to share my screen. Hello, it is our pleasure to greet you on behalf of the City of Prijedor and on behalf of the Development Agency Prijedor. The mayor apologizes for not being able to attend due to previous commitments, but wish us all the best. We are pleased to be part of this project, and it is our turn to do the main work. We have published invitation for this event on our official website, and we hope that the response will be good and that everyone interested in that will join us. We are glad to be part of such a large and very complex project, and even though we are followers, it means a lot to us that we can be part of it. We are a city that wants to progress. We have a lot of will, and we will hope that with the help of this project, we'll be able to move forward. I will now give a short introduction, but detailed presentation will do my colleague Goran. City of Prijedor is located in northwestern part of Bosnia and Herzegovina, entity of Republic of Srpska. It is the third largest local community and the seventh in Republika Srpska, and the seventh largest local community in Bosnia and Herzegovina. About waste and waste management in our city, there are currently no real recycling centers. With the company Komunalne Usluge, there is a mini plant where cardboard, PET packaging, and other plastics are bought and pressed and are sold to the third parties as secondary raw materials. We currently have a local management waste plan in which there are measurements aimed at the introduction of selective waste collection. There are 15 green islands in the area of the city as the result of the project, which was realized in cooperation with the Swedish organization 𝐿𝐴. And when we installed recycling containers, citizens still threw in mixed waste and didn't separate it at the point of origin. With this project, we hope that we will be able to influence on the awareness of our citizens in order to start separating waste at the point of origin. We hope that this pilot project will give good results so that we can replicate it and help others both in our country and in the region or maybe beyond. Now we'll present to you our strategy details. So without further ado, I will leave the floor to my colleague, Goran. Okay.
Okay,
Goran,
greetings from my
share your
side.
screen. Yeah, just a technical thing. We need that normally Tanya stops sharing, then you start sharing.
Okay, I believe now it's better.
I see
Let me
still
just
the
share.
Tanya.
You got it. Stop sharing.
Okay, that's I can do it. Here we go. You just need to share your screen. I did it. I did it, Goran. You need just to share your screen.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a pleasure to greet all of you today, and it's a real pleasure to present this challenge that we worked on in last 2 years, but very intensively in last 6-7 months when we started this process with the follower cities, following of course the leader cities. My name is Goran Rodic. I'm working in the agency Preda. So as you can see, City of Prijedor is a full partnership member of 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝 project. And we, as a development agency, we have a specific role in supporting our city in the process of implementation of the project and in process of resolving all the challenges they faced on that direction. So for today, I will explain you, or I will just briefly inform you about the challenge and the details of the challenge that we are facing in Prijedor, and it's about waste management. It's about recycling. It's basically about the selective process of collection of waste. Tanya already told you about our position, but on these slides you can actually get even some more information and more detail about our position within the country of Bosnia and Herzegovina and generally in Europe. We consider ourselves as a city with a very interesting and very, let's say, favorable position in terms of the European Union and European continent in general. The reason why we are showing this slide is always just to show that we are not so far away, because usually there is an impression, there is an image of the country, and when somebody say Bosnia and Herzegovina, the people from Europe think that that is very far away country, but it's actually we are just southeastern part of the Europe, so very close. We are at the borders of the European Union. Basically, from the Croatian capital, we have a distance of some 160 kilometers, and in a 1 hour and 1.5 hour, you can basically get to a lot of different European centers in the countries in the region, and we consider ourselves as a city with a very nice geographical position. Also, we consider ourselves as a city which is quite urban and wants to be modern, and actually it's quite a nice place to live. We think that it's a nice place to live in. We have some images of the city, some panorama, just for you to get the context of the city that we are presenting you today, so that you can actually see that we are developed urban and commercial industrial center. We have around 880,000 inhabitants, sorry, which are living in 71 settlements, which are organized in 49 local communities. Most of these local communities are actually rural areas. So basically, the surface of the city of Prijedor is quite large, and it within itself it has a significant portion of rural areas. Urban area of the city is organized in settlements, pretty much in a planned manner, and we have a combination of individual household buildings and actually corners of the city or parts of the city which there is individual households, and also parts of the city with this with the buildings with the multi-floor buildings with the flats, so like cooperative housing buildings. Regarding the process of environmental protection, it should be mentioned that the city is quite active for the past 15 years, and we are active in this so-called transition process of adaptation to climate change. Environmental protection is usually and it's constantly one of the main pillars in all strategic documents that we have submitted so far, all that we have had so far, including the most recent one, which is adopted for the period of 2024 to 2030. Our path on cooperation with Europe and European institutions and European Union in general in terms of environmental protection started with the initiative Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy back in 2010, if I remember correctly, when we were one of the first signatories of the initiative in this region, targeting the reduction of the greenhouse emissions by 20%, increasing the share of renewable energy use to 20%, and improving energy efficiency by 20%. It is also important to mention that City of Prijedor has a sustainable energy and climate action plan for the period 2018-2030. So why did we choose waste management as a challenge? So by participating in the Climate project, we had the opportunity, or we had some options to channel our efforts and to go maybe in the energy section, or mobility, or waste. At the end, we have decided to go with the waste management challenge for a number of reasons. Although the other two challenges of mobility and energy would be also interesting to work on, but we decided to go with the waste. Our judgment is that the concept of circular economy is now on the rise, and that the recycling process is going to be very significant. It was significant in the past, but it's going to be even more significant in the future period. And the recycling process will be one of the main pillars of this concept of circular economy in general. What is also important, and why we choose waste management, is also that we are working very closely with the city-owned company for waste management. So it is important to know that city has established, and the city has own waste management company, which is currently involved in the number of different value chains of recycling, but still facing very low level of recycling, very low level of selectively collected waste. So basically, we have this situation in which there is a growing economic viability of the connected models. So basically, this economic part of the whole story about recycling was questionable in the previous period, but now and also in the future period, we can expect that the viability of the recycling process is going to be strengthened. And we think that our company for waste management has a lot of potential, even in this moment, to do recycling. They are also quite active because they are working on the concept of recycling yards. They are prepared. It's in the preparatory phase, and their activeness is one of the reasons why we actually even decided to go with the waste management issue as a challenge. Also, we wanted to stress out that waste management issues has have a specific image in local community, especially in the people which are bringing decisions, because there is the equation mark with the high cost infrastructural interventions. Whenever you say something about waste management, it's always pretty much connected to the significant infrastructural works and equipment of different locations, and which are very, very costly. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to change this primary image in terms of making this challenge not so connected to the infrastructural interventions, but more into growing awareness on the change of behavior of the citizens, because at the specific point in time, you can even fulfill all the infrastructural conditions on one side, and then on the other side you can have the inhabitants, you can have the citizens which are not following with their habits, they're not following the infrastructure of the selective collection of waste. So basically, maybe it's better to have let's say we use this opportunity to concentrate on the behavior of the citizens rather than on infrastructural interventions. Although we are going to try to find the sources of even funding of these infrastructural interventions. It is also important for you to know that we are a country which is a candidate, which has a candidate status for the membership in the European Union. And I'm not sure if you're familiar, but basically in these countries, a lot of challenges, especially infrastructural. There is a kind of this mindset in which it is considered that it could be solved. It could be solved by receiving financial grants from the European Union, and also from other international development organizations. So that's the level of awareness of thinking about this topic in general. And also, what is important, why waste management, is because it's aligned with our development strategy and with the documents that I have mentioned earlier. 75% of the local population is covered by the waste management services. 50% coverage is of the rural areas, and on the annual level, some 25,000 tons of waste is being collected. Waste of various types are being collected. From that figure, less than 1% of waste is collected for further exploitation, so for recycling issues. So that's approximately 230 tons per year. So we think that there is a great potential in actually increasing this percentage of waste, which might be collected in the selective manner and which might be used for further recycling processes. So basically, our challenge is to increase urban waste segregation. So it's the title of the challenge that we are going to use for this project. And we have some objectives and desired outcomes, which are important for any interested parties, for any interested potential service providers to have in consideration. So what we want to introduce solutions which are based on combining of new technologies for real-time monitoring of waste quantities per specific waste type, and we want to have proactive citizens engagement in selected parts of the city, urban areas. So basically, what we want to establish, we want to try to use new technologies and change of the behavior of the citizens to increase the quantities of selectively collected waste. So we are targeting behavioral changes of the citizens, and we want to show that there are solutions which can bypass the infrastructural burdens. So just to say that there is also an option, just to show that there is an option of not having infrastructural burdens, infrastructural efforts put in front of any initiative, but also to have these solutions which could bypass this burden. We want to promote, we want to use smart technology solutions. This will for sure raise efficiency of city waste management companies, including the reduction of their CO2 emissions, and increase the rate of locally collected waste directed to recycling. For this challenge, we have targeted that at least 2 specific urban parts of the city are going to be approached. We want to have at least two urban parts. One part which would have relatively high density of residential multiple floor buildings, and the other part of the city which might be characterized by the individual households objects. So we want to have these 2 types of let's say of the neighborhoods involved in this pilot action. And approximately we targeting that we are going to have a 9,000 inhabitants of the city as covered by the pilot action. Envisaged solutions should enable monitoring of the combined performance indicators, meaning that we would like to have information, data on the quantities of properly separated waste per type, location, household, and individual in a specific time frame and under different incentive policies. And of course, let's say our intention is to develop this pilot and to, if resulted in a good manner, if resulted in a efficient way, we are interested to disseminate the model to the area of the entire territory of the city. What is also important, and on this slide you have some images. The experimentation should be a combination of technological and social features, and any gamification elements in the process, and gamification element of the desired solution, of the proposed solution, would be more than welcomed. There are some let's say there are some examples in the region, even in the country, in using specialized machines for recycling, but it doesn't necessarily have to imply this solution. Although it looks to us as something which might be feasible on our local level. And for what also Matteo explained in his presentation, generally what we think that it's a problem is this: there's a general lack of information on the available and existing technologies we might use. So what Matteo said, that okay, there are technologies, but we are not using them. Maybe one of the reasons is that there's a general lack of information of what we actually might use. So basically our expectations from this preliminary market consultation is to discover these technologies by receiving specific offers or specific proposals of the desired solutions. Regarding the commitment of involved parties, it should be mentioned that the city administration is going to be behind this pilot initiative. Public utility company which is working on the waste management is the owner of some infrastructure. They are also interested. They're going to back up a proposal or the solution which is feasible and which is at the end accepted by all parties. Citizens, they will play an important role. We also expect maybe involvement of some civil society organization, non-governmental organization, which could take some process of promotion of the concept in the realization of the idea. And engagement of the citizens should be fostered through the potential material or non-material benefits compared to the leader cities and compared to the locations which we were able to see within this 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝 project, especially in Maribor and Cascais, where we saw actually how the local community and the city administration is supporting and providing incentives for the good, let's say, good or rational behavior of the citizens in terms of segregation of the waste, in terms of this separative collection of waste for future recycling process. So for any questions you might have on this final slide, you can see our contact details. You can see the names of the people which are members of the project team working with the Climate Bureau, and where you can actually ask from whom you can actually ask for more information about this process in the upcoming period. So I hope that I was not too much
You were perfect. Whatever you wanted to say, it was perfect. By the way, you're totally in time. And then you made the right point. After this call, it's always possible to ask any questions. You can also write to 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝@𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝, which is our project email address, to ask any question. Obviously, questions about the challenge will be just forwarded to our colleagues. And about this, it has to be very clear that any questions and anything is requested to us or the City of Prijedor of Preda will be then published in the FAQs of the project to make sure that everyone is aware for the tendering process about what was answered, to make sure that every competitor has exactly the same chances and the same information. Same chances depends also by the solution, but for sure the same information to compete at the best.
Stop sharing the screen.
It's now, yeah, you can stop sharing. Now, that's the moment to open the floor to questions. Anyone can ask. Also, if I see some Climate Bureau partners, if you have questions, you can ask them, obviously, because whatever question is done will be very useful also for the future, for helping also our friends in Prijedor to better shape their tendering process. If you want to talk, just raise your hand and we will give you the floor. Yes, that Goran was very, very clear. Okay. Okay. 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝, if I'm pronouncing well your name, the floor is yours.
Yes, hi. Hello, Matteo. Hello, everyone. Very interesting presentation. I would like just one short question. Maybe the answer won't come immediately, and that's why I'm asking the question now to have time a little bit to think. I wanted to ask the municipality, are you will you be okay if these two pilots or one of these two pilot areas to make some kind of new organization of the waste collection, meaning that the solution should be somehow technical and everything that you described, but are you okay with the idea for the pilot project in this specific, well, let's say one of the two areas, to have new kind of organization of the waste collection, meaning not like now the open street containers everywhere like we saw on the pictures. Maybe we can have a little bit more information how it's organized, the waste streams on the streets, but like on a scheduling with giving to the citizens some kind of inventory and different kind of collection. I won't go more in details because still the idea is very raw, but will be this something that you can do? This is my question, and thanks a lot.
Okay,
Who wants to answer? Okay.
I will try to answer the question. So the question if some new rearrangement of the organization in that city areas is going to be performed. Basically it's the question for the waste management, because it depends from the quantities, it depends from their let's say internal procedure, if they are going to change anything. Naturally, I think that if the project shows some kind of success, if some specific significant quantities of selectively collected waste are going to be performed, I guess that they will be very responsive to that issue. They will change some organizational issues within, but it's very, let's say, early to talk about any particular move that they are going that we or that the waste management company is going to make.
Yeah. Okay, my idea was during the pilot project for, let's say, 6 or 1 year, this period, just in this area, to show different approach of waste collection that will lead to those results that you search for. This is actually the idea, but let's see with the future and the shared ideas how it's going to be. But yeah, in general, you're okay to make changes with the idea to have the results desired. Okay, thanks, Goran.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks to the both of you. There is any other questions for Prijedor?
Yes, there is one. There is Goran Krivic.
I don't see why I don't see the hand. Goran Krivic. Again, I excuse my pronunciation.
Okay, hello everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank Goran from Prijedor to inviting me on this session. I come from Prijedor, yes, from the organization of civil society. I'm working with most ecological project in City of Prijedor, and beyond that, almost in all the area of Bosnia and Herzegovina and region. I mostly done project mostly for the protection of the river, but the waste management is not something that I don't know. So I agree everything that Goran and Tanya presented on this. I have to say, like Goran said, the pilot project. Most that I want to most important thing is, like Goran said, is growing awareness. I don't want to say the growing awareness. It's more educations of the people how to do how to make the waste management, how to make the selection of the waste, how to prepare for the waste management plan. We already have the waste management plan, like Goran said, from 22nd to 2027. And the waste management plan already predict some things that we already talk about. I just want to say the colleague Ivailo, if I say it correctly, it's interesting idea that he said that the organization, this build project will be great. Okay, I agree with Goran Rodic that the organization now in this time we cannot ask from somebody, but we can ask from some ecological organization or some people that were interested in these build projects to do the I don't know, to grow the awareness, to educate the people in these build projects how to do that. Because if we have infrastructure and everything else, if people don't know how to use it, that's a waste of the time and the money. But if we already have the educated people how to use it and how to do the selected waste and how to recycle the waste, because everything's come from home. If you in your home to select your paper bags and I don't know, the glass and everything else. It's easy when you step out of the house to put everything in the basket where it should be. So I think that this 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣 ideas for organizations, maybe can we go in that direction to find some people or some ecological organization that can use them to do the educations with the people in the city and in the rural area. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Goran. Goran, do you have maybe something to answer here?
Yes, I will also just thank you, Goran, for the remarks. I will also like to stress out that we want to make this pilot attractive. So it's not only about obligation to do the separation, but it's also that it's an attractive thing to do. Because what we saw in some other countries, in some other cities, I mean, they're putting a lot of effort to make it attractive. It seems that people are accepting it more likely if it's attractive issues. For example, in 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝, we saw that there is how to say a scheme in which you collect some kind of points, and in which if you do the proper thing, you basically collect some points and get some benefits. So the process also have this beneficial side. I personally think that part of the solution which we might get should definitely contain this work of civil society organization on the education. So it should be part of the whole part of the package. So it's the technology, it's the equipment, it's the process, but it's also this educational thing. And we think that it could be a good match and important segment.
Stiamo aspettando la risposta di 𝐏𝐻𝐭, che è il nostro lead del Working Group Harmonization.
Okay, very good. You can move on. Sorry for interruption.
Okay, so I'm finished.
You're finished then. Okay, sorry. Okay, very good. I'm sorry. I take list. There is any other questions?
Can I make a question to Goran?
You can.
Okay. Sorry, because it came to my mind, so we didn't agree on that before, but as a citizen, let's say, I have this curiosity. What about the existing performance monitoring? Even if you are not representing in full the waste management company, you may know about that. So what kind of indicators already exist? They are already monitored. And what would the approach be towards these new initiatives that come up with proposals? So do you expect that they comply with the existing indicators and therefore the target would be to improve them as they stand? Or would you also be open to receiving suggestions for further performance indicators which are not immediately considered at the moment, or any other combination between what already exists and what could be added? What is your point of view, Goran, on this? Thank you.
Well, there are some indicators that I presented on the slides. Some 230 tons of waste is being collected on the annual basis, and it's selectively collected. So what we also were surprised within this process is that our local waste management company is already in position, how to say, it's in position to increase these quantities. But the major assumption to do so is to increase the quantities of this selectively collected waste. So they are already in some channels which are connected to recycling process. So now it's up to the system to raise the quantities of selectively collected waste in the city. So from that, we think that there is a great potential for this. But what is problem at the moment is that the citizens they're not doing separation, and they're not even obliged. Maybe even they are obliged by the law, but it's not performed well. It's not like in the countries of the European Union that we travel from time to time, in which you can see that there is obligations for the citizens to collect their waste on a specific manner. We don't have that, and then in that circumstances, it is very, let's say, it's very hard to expect. Now, if they are not pushed by some legal framework with some not incentives, but even with some sanctions, we cannot consider that there's going to be increase of the quantities of selectively collected waste. So now it's the question of providing the solution for them as easy as possible, as attractive as possible to start doing so that we could actually increase the quantities.
Yeah, but as you tell me that there is indeed some monitoring, and also, as you said, some plans or objectives for increasing the quantity, the different quantities of segregated waste. Is it also possible to say, in your point of view, that for the two identified areas which aren't yet identified, there will be disaggregated initial indicators already available for those areas, so that you can say, okay, this is what we consider as the baseline, and then in the time of the in experimentation, we will measure the improvement.
Yes, yeah, I see your point now. You want to see if we have baseline data about the selected areas that we are going to work on. Well, we would have that areas, but we, as I said, those areas are still not selected. So for now we just know that there are going to be two areas, one with the individual households and one with the multiple flats, buildings. Collective, yeah. So at the point we actually select parts of the city, we would have that data, but also, of course, thanks to the data provided by the colleagues from the waste management company.
Thank you, Goran.
Very good. Okay, any other questions? I don't see raised hands, and I think that we can move on. First, thank you all of you for the questions and for, I think it allows Goran and the whole team in Prijedor also to start thinking about this. Then, as we are okay, then we will have another Q&A session. Then it's always possible to ask more questions. In any cases, for now, I leave the floor to Francesco Molinari, that will be explaining you a bit more about the procedure. City of Prijedor explain what they're looking for, what's their challenge, but what about the procedure will take place while we do a preliminary market consultation, what will be happening. Then, Francesco, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Matteo. And of course, during the next question time, you can still make questions to Goran. Goran is not leaving the room until the end of the workshop, so feel free to come back if new ideas come to your mind after this presentation of mine. This presentation, I hope you can see the slides in front of you. Now I'm going to the second slide, entitled "The Purpose of this Event." The event in question, the one we are now experiencing, has a technical name, which is Preliminary Market Consultation. Preliminary because it comes before the start of the preparation of a call for tender, which of course, is supposed to be the instrument through which we will select, and I will explain you how, good candidates to provide solutions to the challenge presented very synthetically at the moment by Goran. It's a market consultation because it is about listening to what the market players, the private and also public research and innovation actors operating in this specific market, also with existing products and services, with very broad and inclusive, what kind of reaction they have, what kind of advice they can give us on how to set up the call contents. So what kind of direction the call should take. Of course, we have some starting points and also some constraints, and my presentation will be about them. But for those of you, I see familiar names in the list of participants who are already aware, because they already took part successfully or unsuccessfully in the previous call we launched 1.5 years ago. I'm optimistic that you can also confirm that the call was taking benefit of the results of the preliminary market consultation workshops we did before preparing the call. So we are genuinely interested in receiving your advice, and we are open to solutions which are simply above the stage of mere prototyping. For those who are familiar with the TRL grading system, technology readiness level, we are speaking of prototypes which are about 5 or 6, which means already tested successfully, either in controlled environments or in more open environments, similar to the deployment in real conditions. In that case, we would use the experimentation phase to bring those prototypes to a shape that is closer to a replicable product or service. But we are also open to already existing solutions having the maximum possible TRL number, which is 9, that need only to be adapted to the case that was described because they have been successfully deployed in other cities, for example. We will take stock, as I said, and use the information to publish a call for tender, which will have some aspects pretty similar to the previous edition. In particular, the aim to reward 2 distinct and independent solution providers, each with a maximum budget of 120,000 euros, VAT excluded. So there will be at least 2 winners for this call. Then, under certain conditions, we may also think of having more, depending on the situation. These proposal bidders, no, these bidders, proposers can be either individual economic operators or consortia of any possible composition, including from different countries. And those of you who know the story of the previous call know very well that more or less 50% of the winners of the previous call did not belong to the same country where the city in question was located. So we expect a number of winners which may also not come at all from Bosnia and Herzegovina, or maybe join forces with local operators in a way that we neither encourage nor consider a negative aspect. We will only focus on the capacity of participants and the quality of the proposal that we will be receiving from you. For sure, there will be, especially for the prototypes, the intention, but also the commitment from our side to protect and preserve your intellectual property rights. And also we invite you, this is the first round of a series of 5 events like this. We will have Sofia next week and then 3 more. So my invitation is to come again and see whether there can be additional opportunities from that additional set of events. Like I said, we have some constraints, or at least we have already decided upfront which generic high-level characteristics the solutions being provided should be in possession of. And I can name 5 of them. The first characteristic is that they should fit with the perimeter of a challenge. The challenge is not only what Goran just presented. The challenge will be further defined based on the information we will be receiving from you. And I will explain again better how we expect to receive that information. Second element, and that was already mentioned in the previous discussion, we are neither focusing only on, for example, educational projects, nor only focusing on the delivery of technologies like nice applications, nice pieces of software. We are aiming at the combination of the 2 aspects, particularly behavioral change that was evident from the presentation of my colleague Goran, but also technology that can facilitate or support this changing behavior. Given the just mentioned budget availability, the solutions in question should be of low cost in terms of budget available, like I said, scalable, which means that, as you just heard, if the city would find, or the waste management company would find extremely positive what has been delivered by the 2 winners, they might decide to extend the experimentation to additional areas of the city, in which case the issue of scalability, of course, should be solvable or solved upfront. And same goes for transferability. In this project, which is a European project, like our coordinator Matteo mentioned, we are very eager to procure additional market opportunities to the winners of our call, which include the possibility of transferring the positive experiences, for example, from the city of Prijedor to another city of the same country, or even of other countries of Europe. So what is our plan? More or less, we would like to hear from you participants in this call again on suggestions and recommendations for possible solutions that could meet the challenge presented extremely briefly, but that was done on purpose by my colleague Goran. There is also the possibility, if you go to the website of the 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝 project, to download a template which you can use to present your suggestions in a more detailed fashion. And like I said, we will protect your interest in business confidentiality by not publishing the parts of your proposal which, for good reasons, you share with us you wouldn't like to be published. But the general principle, like Matteo said, is that we have to put all the participants, the prospective participants in our call for tender in an even condition, and therefore we are recording this workshop. We will publish it on our website and also share the proposals that we will be receiving from you until the 10th of February, basically. Of course, apart from the sections that you will specifically indicate to us as business confidential. Then, indicatively, by mid-March, we expect to publish the call for tender on the European Union's official gazette. The electronic version is named TED, T-E-D, with a deadline of end of April, more or less, for the presentation of candidatures. So it will be a soft deadline. We will not be interested in receiving a proposal until the end of April, but just the information on the individual economic operators or the consortium that is going to be formed and present a proposal to us. The real deadline to submit a proposal will be presumably set between July and August, or a bit earlier. Here there is a bit of vagueness because, as I will explain to you later, there will be actually 2 rounds of submission. The first round will be only the technical proposal that will be submitted, and then we will discuss the details of that proposal individually with each economic operator, and then invite them to resubmit it again with the improvement suggested by the discussion held with us, and especially with the representatives of the City of Prijedor, and then only at the second stage, the technical offer will have to be accompanied by a financial offer that is the price. We have the expectation, the intention of finalizing the award of the contracts by the end of the year. The legal framework we are completely embedded in is the European Directive on Public Procurement, and especially a tool that is named, an instrument for public procurement that is named Innovation Partnership. Even this preliminary market consultation is subject to the provisions of a specific article, Article 40 of the Procurement Directive. You will be able to read more about this procedure, the way it works, by hitting the link that I am presenting here. Be careful because it refers to the previous round, not to this one, but don't worry, we checked back and the provisions are still all applicable. So go to that link, to that source, without any concern. And the only thing is that in the previous round, there were 8 cities. Now we have 5 of them. So the only difference, when you see 8, don't be puzzled. It's only tactical. We didn't change that because it seemed obvious for us. If you would like to read more about the description of this challenge and also the challenges of the other 4 cities, you can go to this other link where we already published the announcement of this event and of the other events in December last year. So the process is this one. We came to you with the presentation of priorities of climate policy in the city, declined in the way Goran presented them. We are promising to make further progress in the definition of the challenge up to the point of generating specific requirements for the innovation partnerships call. And it is here that we are now situated, and we welcome your participation in the discussion, suggesting to us during this meeting and later in writing possible features and constraints that the solutions you have in mind may need to consider. From our point of view, we made already an assessment of the importance of three fundamental dimensions that the solutions to be received should be in possession of. First, I already made a reference in my question to the importance of data, and in the case of my question, data allowing the monitoring of the performance, in this case of the waste management process. But it can be more than that. It can be not only existing data, but also data that is proposed by the solution in the way it is described. Never forget the importance of talking about where data is being stored, in which platform, owned by whom, open or closed. These and others can be the aspects worth considering. And then we have the dimension of people. We would expect in the proposals a description of the role played by citizen and or stakeholder engagement to facilitate the achievement of the goals stated in the challenge, and especially a contribution to identify the pilot community. Goran spoke generically about two communities with generic characteristics, but if you have ideas on how these communities might be shaped, don't hesitate to share them with us. It will facilitate, like I said, the definition of the requirements in our call for tender. And finally, technology, which may imply a lot of elements. Goran mentioned the importance of gamification, but it could also be about citizen science, that is, data being collected directly by the people involved. There can be, for sure, aspects of interoperability between the technologies that you may want to propose and those platforms and technologies that already exist in the state of the art. There can be legal or ethical aspects, including the management of personal privacy, which is an open topic. Never forget, we are not operating this time within a European member state, so there can be a supplement of attention to be provided to the topics that for us, Europeans or members of the European Union, are obvious, like the GDPR. So, like I said, there will be two different rounds. First round, approximately end of April, the proposers will come to us with a first version of their technical offer. Then there will be a set of individual and bilateral talks protecting the privacy and the confidentiality of each of the participants. After this negotiation phase, the presenters will be invited to reformulate their original technical bid, accompanying it by the price. From that moment, which we situate between the month of August and September this year, the actual evaluation will start and may lead to the award of, like I said, two proposals, according to the well-known principle of the most economically advantageous tender, or the ratio between quality and price. Like I said, there are other 4 cities involved, not in the same topic or not necessarily in the same topic or domain as just presented by Goran. We have 2 more cities organizing their own preliminary market consultations in the domain of energy and mobility, and we have 2 more in the domain presented today, Grenoble and Sofia. The full list of events, you can find them either on the preliminary market consultation announcement published on TED, or more simply going to our website. I am done. Like I said, we are eager to hear from you more questions and interventions now. We welcome that you download the template available on our website to send us more suggestions in a more confidential way until the 10th of February. Or if you think you may have interest in additional events, maybe you are not in the right event today, contact our website to get the information. There is a link on Eventbrite to register in the remaining 4 events, which will take place. The next one next Tuesday, if I remember correctly, involving the city of Sofia. And you can contact us in any way with questions. Thank you for your time, and I'm stopping to share.
Thank you, Francesco. And now we'll open the floor to questions. First, I'd like that maybe I show you quickly our website to make sure that maybe we show you where you can find the information that are on our website. I think it's a good idea. It's a live thing because we didn't think of this earlier, and you will excuse us if it's not that easy. I don't know if I'm sharing my screen. Yes, here we go.
Yes.
Here you find, I hope that you see my screen. On our website, you see here the homepage. By the way, I take the occasion to tell you that while you open our website for the first time, it's possible to register. You will have a pop-up allowing you to register to our newsletter. Pay attention, because the newsletter is a way that we use a lot to communicate about the procurements and helping you to have the information with less effort. But anyway, if you want to go on our website and so on, you just have to go to public procurement. When you highlight public procurement, you will see leaders, followers. The leader cities will send you to the old part for the follower cities. You just click on it. You will have the page giving a short explanation of everything. And then you get here, which is our agenda. But if you open each link, you will go directly to the page of the city. Now, let's start with Prijedor, obviously. You see all the information about also the challenge. That's the full challenge. And below, you will see what Francesco was mentioning, the solution proposal form, which is in Word format and PDF format. I guess that you need more the Word and PDF one to complete it. And then you just need to send it back. On the form, it's indicated clearly the email addresses you have to address your information. I would add also that if you want to see the TED prior information notice, it's published there. It will send you directly to the page. And it's quite straightforward. Again, also here, if you have any issues, writing to 𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝@𝐏𝐫𝐢𝐣𝐞𝐝.eu. We will come back to you for any questions that you may have also about this. Maybe you cannot find. Okay. Said that, I would open the floor to questions for Francesco, if there is any. It was quite clear, but we may know better than you the things. And maybe for you it's less clear. Then feel free to ask if any of you has questions.
Just one thing, Matteo. I'm Francesco Amato.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation of everyone. I have just a question. Is there on the website also the presentation of Goran? Or if
It's
Goran
not
can
there
send
yet. Yeah, that's a very good question. We will put the recording, the slides,
Okay,
available to everyone. Let's say that it will happen probably Monday. Just
no
the
problem.
time,
Perfect.
just the time to do, but the recording and the slides and any other information will be made available for everyone.
Okay, perfect for me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any other questions? Nothing? Sorry, I don't see any hands. If you see hands, let me know. I don't see hands. And probably it was clear. And then I see that quite a number of the solution providers that are here already participated to the first one. Then I'm guessing they probably have more information than we expect. Okay. Then now, here we are. We've done all the presentation that we had to do. That was quite quicker than expected. Then now, this is the occasion that you have still to ask any questions, not just to Francesco, but also to the city of Prijedor or Preda if you want. Otherwise, we will move on and quickly wrapping up. And you will probably have back some of your time that you didn't expect to have. All good? Okay. Then I would say first, 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿𝐼, go ahead.
Hi again, just a quick question maybe to Francesco. Is it mandatory or to describe some kind of idea, the solution till I think it was February 10th, or we can take more time and when it's the call for tender to wrap it up?
Oh, we are expecting exactly that because as you can imagine, there can be many ways to set up a pilot in Prijedor to fulfill at the small size of an experimentation site, of a pilot site, the big goals that were presented earlier on behalf of the city. Of course, the budget is not that big, so there can be no silver bullet solution that we can expect. But still, if you leave us alone in figuring out what the right pilot solution may be about, we would certainly come to a conclusion. But maybe that conclusion may not fit that much in what some of the participants today would be able to deliver. So knowing that there is indeed a collection of market players already presiding over certain solution domains or solution areas would help us make the text of the expected pilot experimentation more adherent to what has chances of being later submitted as a proposal. Otherwise, we will simply go and do a description that reflects our understanding of the solutions that already exist in the market or could be developed with the limited budget we are talking about and deployed experimentally in the two cities. So certainly something will come up without your input. With your input, we will have at least a benchmark to compare our ideas with or against. Then there is no obligation, of course, from our side, no commitment and no obligation to pick your ideas and transfer it into the call specifications. But if it is sufficiently smart, we might consider it and also preserve the possibility not only for the company making the proposal, but also for additional operators to compete on the specific thing that we liked introducing based on the suggestions received from some of the market players, others seated with us today or who will be listening to our recording of this session in the coming days.
Yeah, I'd like to strengthen what Francesco is saying. I mean, absolutely, it's not an obligation, but it's an occasion. I mean, normally in call for tenders, you are not that lucky to be able to somehow send something that can be taken into consideration in the drafting. Uh, then it's an occasion. You should see it more than an occasion. By the way, if you open the solution form, it's a tiny document. It's not a long work. And then it's more an occasion. Can be a pity. We've seen in the first round that this anyway helps a lot the cities in benchmarking, understanding better what is around the challenge, and then defining the requirements that then go into call for tender. Then it's an occasion. You should take it more than an occasion. Then it's something that it's more work. I don't do it. I think it's very important. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to open the list because otherwise I don't see. I see that we are still already losing some participants. Any other questions? No, doesn't sound so. Okay, not even from the city of Prijedor. All good. We're very good. We people understand us a lot. Okay, then now I think that we can wrap up. I'd like first, if the colleagues of the city of Prijedor or Preda want to say something, if you want to call for contributions, feel free, and then we will. Francesco, you can then follow the city of Prijedor, saying whatever you want to conclude, and I'll just say my final goodbye. Tanya or Goran or whoever, do you want to say something?
On behalf of City of Prijedor, we were very glad to participate and actively participate in the first of a kind preliminary market consultation for the City of Prijedor. So it's the first process it's the first time that we actually implemented this type of process in the city. So it's a kind of a important date today for us. Thank you.
Nice to hear. Francesco, do you want to follow what Goran said?
No, not at the moment. I think, I hope that I was clear enough, but we will be at your disposal in the coming days. Also, if you would like to send us bilateral inquiries, we will be happy to answer, and preserving your anonymity, we will put the questions we receive and the answer we give on the FAQ link that I showed you before.
About the FAQs, just for your information, we will anyway be duplicating the leaders one, transforming in followers, adapting them to avoid any confusions from your side, and getting rid also, because there are some parts about the old cities that we will get rid of because already they're not updated. And you will be finding the two FAQs. It will be quite clear because in the follower page, you will be find the link to the FAQs to allow you to be on the safe side. Then don't worry, next days this will happen. We will just adapt it. Then, as Francesco said, that's just some 8 becoming 5 and adapting a few things, and in particular opening the pages for the cities. Every city will have its own part in which eventually you will be finding questions that, as an example, are about Prijedor or the other cities that will be coming after this. Then I want just to thank all the participants. The participation we had good numbers. Happy about that. We see some interest. That's very good. What I'd like to also to stress is that, as Francesco already said a few times, we have other preliminary market consultations coming up in the next days, because we go from here to the 28th. On Tuesday, at 12 our time, CET, there will be the Sofia Premier Market Consultation. Is about waste again. It has similarities with the Prijedor one. Then maybe the ones that are here are interested. It will be around 12. And as I said, CET. Some of the colleagues were here. I don't know if they're still there. But anyway, then following that, on Friday next week, on the 23rd in the morning at 10, we will be flying to France and to the city of 𝐿𝐴-les-Moulineaux. That, for the ones that don't know, it's in the outskirts of Paris. It's just next to Paris. It's one of the digital districts of Paris. And in that case, it's more energy, or anyway, behavioral change on that side oriented. Then we will move on the 27th. We will stay in France, but we will go from more skiing, as we are in the season, in more skiing region than in Grenoble Métropole. They will be working on waste again, but more on electronic and electric equipments. We'll be hearing from them. It will be on the 27th at 9:30. And then we will conclude on the 28th. We will go to Czech Republic. We will be having our mobility challenge, also about road closures, and then it's interesting. It will be on the 28th at 10:30 our time. Then we will be happy to see you there. Also because some of these challenges have some points in common on the two sides, and the mobility and energy and the waste ones can have really similarities. Then for some of you, it can be multiple opportunities. Now, then I would close thanking all of you again, and hoping to see you in the next ones that I just described. And thank you for the City of Prijedor and Breda for the excellent presentations, and Francesco for the time and the presentation. Thank you very much.
Ciao Matteo, mi senti, vero?
Sì, sì.
Ok.
Ah,
Intanto ho aperto,
devo fare una cosa, perfetto.
Sì. Intanto ti assegno anche a te
Ma
organizzatore.
lo stai già registrando? Sei già partita?
No, l'aveva già impostato Besnik.
Ah,
Io
è automatico.
sto
No, è
utilizzando
solo che
l'account, se no c'è da
dovremmo
fare i
tagliarlo.
tagli. Allora lo posso interrompere per adesso, no?
Sì, secondo me sì, perché
Appunto.
così poi lo tagliamo.
Infatti, aspetta, che lo tolgo.